Are we back? We're back, and I say that tentatively, like I have every last few of these, where hopefully the technology doesn't shit out on us, because that's what it loves to do. I am in here. Kronk's actually with me over there. He looks very cute. I wish you could see him. He's curled up in a little ball, and oh, you can't see him at all. But God, he looks cute as fuck. He looks like he's not capable of bringing in the dead creature that he brought in literally 15 minutes ago. So he's a deceptive boy. But we're still on our quest of catching up with people. So I don't want to delay. I've been kind of really enjoying doing these and chatting with everyone and seeing where everybody's at. So, but as always, I'm going to call my mom and we're going to get her one of these times. Okay. I'm going to try my best, do my daily due diligence as a child, and let's fucking rip this thing.
Hi, you've reached Colleen.
Okay, yeah.
I can't come to the phone.
Not gonna play with that. I tried, Mom. And I'm still trying to get my sister back on here. So I'm going to just write down the list as usual, do this thing. And Melanie, let's get you back here.
Hi, you've reached Mel. I'm in Antarctica researching a zombie virus that will release into the world if the ice shelf melts. So I can't take your call. Leave me a message and I'll get back to you.
Why am I not surprised? Okay. You know who I have not spoke to in a really long time is my good friend Matt. We have been creative souls intertwined for years at this point. I feel like in the past few years, the conversations we have always had have been great, and we've been in really similar timelines artistically and trying to figure a lot of shit out. So, Matt? I feel like every time all I do is I just dial their full name via numbers.
Yeah, you got Matt?
Oh, Matt!
Hey, buddy!
Matt, hey, what's up?
What's up, man?
Not much. Are you busy?
No, I'm good. I just butchered a full bull moose.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
In Wisconsin?
Well, I've been watching a lot of survival reality television, so I'm very connected to the characters. So I'm very empathetic with it. So in my heart, I did butcher it, but someone else did do the butchering.
Man, that's a lot of meat.
You know, there's a lot of rural Alaskan Inuit tribes who, due to their obscure location, a majority of their diet comes from the wild, still, to this day.
That's
and they
incredible.
Go out with harpoons and guns, and they, troll the marshes with their boats, and they see a moose, and they jump out, and they gotta kill the moose, and that's how they fill their freezer.
Yeah, that feeds a whole village for, I imagine, a whole year, right?
Yeah. Well, it's actually by family. They kill, they do a lot of seafood, like fish, seal once in a while, but moose is a big one for them. And then, I didn't know this, I just found this out. When they have leftover moose, they will donate it to the native hospital in Anchorage, because that's, where the main hospital is in that state, because it's such a rural, nomadic state. And so when, people from the native culture have to go to the hospital, they really appreciate home cooking, but their home cooking to them is moose stew. It's not casserole, they have their own taste. So I just found that out too.
And now I've just found that out. I really wish you actually did, so I could see what that poundage of meat looks like.
I would like to hunt once.
You haven't hunted at all? Wait, sorry, real quick. Do you have your camera? Do you want to pull that up?
I think I have my camera, yeah.
All right. Okay, on 1 sec. Let me get you.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's not on my end. There it is.
Nice.
Hey.
Okay, hunting. You've never hunted?
I've never hunted. I took hunter's safety once, and we borrowed the gun from a friend because my family didn't have guns. And I walked in, and the gun had no case. It's very casual gun culture here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And immediately, like, everyone freaked out at me because I had a gun with no case. And I never went back to hunter safety. And that was the end of my hunting career.
How old were you?
Can't hunt without safety. Oh, 5th, 6th grade. So 11, 12.
Jesus. Yeah, I did hunter safety.
Man with a gun, 12 years old.
Yeah, I had to have been about the same age, I think.
Yeah, that's about the age. 12 to 14, that feels about right.
Yeah, so what gun did you use for it? A rifle?
Yeah, it was a rifle.
Okay.
Simple
yeah.
rifle.
Mine was a 22.
Yeah. I have shotguns since then, but it was like target shooting, which
We did
we've
shoot a
shotguns
gun
together.
Yeah, we did. And what did you say? You said it feels like
It's like having two dicks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you still feel the same way about that?
I haven't shot a gun in years, but I imagine the feeling does not go away.
Cock it.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Yeah, neither does your dick, ideally.
Hopefully not. Yeah, I haven't really felt like I had a dick lately. I haven't had too much confidence in myself, you know?
Why is that?
I'm trying to work
Can
on
I
it.
ask why that is? I know that's like a fucking deep question, but like
I've felt old, man. I watch all these like there's like music that comes out and like videos that come out, and I'm like, I can't even conceptually figure out how people come up with that. And I'm like, oh, am I getting slow? You know, like, am I getting old and slow? Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And like, maybe it's just like, is it the time when I become a mentor?
Oh no. Well, can't you not do both?
Yeah, well, and actually now I feel better.
Because I feel like that's the classic, like, you still, as a mentor and teacher, you still learn from the student.
Yeah, I just think things are getting really, really fast.
They are.
Or they were getting really, really fast and changing really fast. So, like, if you weren't paying constant, close attention, you would miss it. And then you would have no concept of, like, the influence on the next thing. Because it almost, like, weekly, things were building upon each other. I mean, have you seen the Nutter Butter Instagram?
No. I am, like, not on the internet. I'm far away from that.
Well, I'm in marketing.
By all means,
now,
fill me in.
so
I'm very curious.
I think if you just pull up the Nutter Butter Instagram just for a quick 30 seconds,
Okay. I can do this.
You'll see what the kids are smoking, and that's the kind of shit that makes me insecure.
Okay.
Because do you remember like snack commercials when you were a kid? Did you like watch Nickelodeon or cartoons, and it'd be like, pizza in the evening, pizza in the pizza at supper time.
Oh yeah, I know.
Bites.
I recognize that.
You know, like it was always like friends at a sleepover, and like that was the marketing for us.
Yeah.
That's how they got in touch with kids. Now pull up the Nutter Butter Instagram, and you can see the modern way they are trying to get in touch with
Holy
children.
shit! This is like.
It's like deep fried meme. Like,
look at this shit. This is absolutely.
It's absolute insanity. You can even click on.
Oh
so
my
like
God.
this is how they're marketing the children, and if that's the case, like I feel a little screwed. You know, like I can't.
This makes me really kind of feel weird.
Yeah.
Okay, have you seen the like any of the stuff about the new Gen Alpha is what it's called, right? And their language.
Yeah, I think so. No, I'm still catching up with Gen Z. You know, I'm not an elder millennial by any means, but I'm right I'm right at the tail end of it.
Yeah.
But boy, I feel like an elder millennial a lot when I start watching content and trying to figure out what's going on there.
Yeah, so like somebody had shown me this video a while ago of I'm assuming a dad or a brother playing a video on, or like a YouTube video or TikTok on their TV. And it was like, here's a quiz to see if you know what these words mean. And each word was a slang. It was like skibbity and it was like whatever.
Yeah, no idea.
And sitting on the couch is this young boy who's like 12-ish, and he knew every single thing. And but what the caption to this video was it was like the brain rot test.
Brain rot. Yeah.
And it really made me feel uncomfortable. And this is how it kind of makes me feel the same way, because it's like degraded. It literally feels like the content has rotted to its like cheapest, most like almost druggy kind of. Oh, I don't know, but
it's become crack.
Yeah.
When we used to dine on steak, that's at least how it felt.
We did.
And at least, so I've been watching a lot of old Johnny Carson Tonight Show. They have full episodes on YouTube. Just random guys, old guys for sure. We'll just like rip them from a VCR to digital, and they'll like put them online. And that to me is like the pinnacle of entertainment. But am I getting old, or I'm getting distracted? But that's fine.
You can get distracted here. I do all the time.
What I'm trying to say is like, with every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is a law of energy and physics and matter, whatever. Newton, Fig Newton. Check out their Instagram. Anyways, it's like we have reached a point in content and deliverables that, like, I think it'll go back. It has to go back. Like, we have to go back. Because I don't think there's anything left deeper. Like, Nutter Butter's Instagram is the scraping the barrel of what modern day content is. But we're gonna have to zoom out of the barrel and find a new barrel.
Yeah, like, where do you think is the point where people go, I'm done with that? Like, how far gone do we have to get?
I think we're like in it right now, which that's partially why I'm optimistic. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news, but like there's a few. So I work for a publication. I work for a regional publication, an alternative arts and music publication. That's like my full-time job.
Okay.
And
wait, for who?
Volume 1.
Oh.
Called Volume 1.
Okay, yeah, fuck yeah.
You went to school here, so you know.
I'm familiar with the old Volume 1. I feel like that's like, for anybody who doesn't know, why don't you give us the sales pitch on Volume 1?
We've been around since 2002. We publish 15,000 magazines bi-weekly, arts and culture in the Chippewa Valley, which is the region in which we live. We have an estimated readership of about 50,000 people. And it's just about everything that's going on around town. And I'll be honest with you, like that's part of the reason I wanted to work with this company was when I grew up, our town, it probably had stuff going on, but like I didn't know about any of it. I was also young. That's a part of it. But like our downtown area was just trash. One of our best parks right now downtown called Phoenix Park, which is a beautiful park. It's got power, so you can do music festivals, food truck events, any kind of event you can imagine it can do. That used to be a junkyard when I was growing up. But what I really like about Volume 1 is it kind of started this like cultural renaissance in town, and people started appreciating it. And now there's countless art events every single week, every single weekend, multiple big ones throughout the year, multiple like national headlining music events as well. And so like that's something I want to be a part of. I want to be a part of like, what comes next? How do we build this? How do we grow this? And it's just a really cool spot, and it's a really cool place, and everybody's really creative and cool. Is that the pitch? I think that's the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when I was living there, Volume 1 was like the pulse of the culture and art scene in the city, which is a pretty like active scene, I would say, for music and just dare I say, like the kind of indie hipster side of the world.
Yeah, and I do think just by nature of like what a business is, it has kind of evolved a bit to also have like new restaurants and new businesses, and like also we feature like up and coming realtors and stuff like that too, because like that's also part of the culture. Is who you're doing business with is part of the culture. Who are you like having transactions with is
Yeah.
very much a part of a city's culture. So like, but we still do both, you know. It's just very cool. And what I always say is like volume one, what we do best is we connect the community with what matters most to them, no matter what that is. So, and we tell real human stories. So,
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, the other fun fact that kind of goes with this, I'd say, is that Eau Claire, Wisconsin, is where Bon Iver hails from. That area,
Yep.
and so it's had a very important impact on that.
that
whole
was also a huge thing for Eau Claire.
big thing, right? Yeah, and so I
Huge.
think since then it's really created this like rippling of more artists in that whole scene, and Volume One has always been at the front of that.
Yeah, and at any given moment, you can walk downtown and see 20 to 30 Bon Iver clones
Yeah.
walking around in their flannel with beards,
Yep.
looking for love in all the wrong places.
So you're responsible for what?
My title is Marketing and Digital Content Strategy.
Okay, that feels
So-
like a good fit for you.
Yeah, so I just get the word out in creative ways about everything we're doing. So I also handle like a couple clients, like businesses that have contracted, depending on the client. Like their social medias and stuff like that, and making content for them. So it actually has been really nice. So like now I get paid to make things, which is something I've always wanted my entire life. But when you get paid to make things, here's the interesting thing about paying someone to do something. They are then allowed expectations for what it is.
Yeah.
And so what's really cool is now I feel like a lot of when I get to create stuff for me, I'm like, wow, no rules.
Yeah.
Incredible. Like so I don't feel like the pressure I used to. It's like way more fun than it used to be because I don't have to answer to anybody or get approvals or like make a new edit and be like, is this good? And then wait for 3 days and call them and be like, oh, I want to post this on it's National Burger Day. I'd like to post, it's weird timing stuff like that. And now I just get to make stuff on my own. Like now I get to come home and I can make whatever I want.
So the question I have with that, which I think is going to get us to sort of the main question I had for you and why I called, because I've been getting in touch with my close creative friends who are on artist journeys. And so ultimately I want to know where you're at with your own. So you can, I know that's a fat question, but I think we'll get there because I want to know, how does this new job then, and this, like you're saying, there's an expectation to create something and deliver. How has that affected your own personal creativity and projects?
Well, I think I kind of answered that with like, I feel like little pressure now for myself because it's like, it's now like a free space, which is great. And I will say for any like creative person out there, like getting a job that makes you enough money to survive and not struggle is I always thought it would kill my inspiration. It does the opposite because like I can afford rent and like just having that monkey off your back, for lack of a better term, really helps. But currently where I'm at is like, I would still love to create full time, like for myself, but that does beg the question, would that change the way I feel right now? Which it probably would, because the only people who have expectations now are me. But if you find success and you start making money and people are paying you for things, then they have expectations. It's like a really double-edged sword. So what I realize I'm really inspired by is figuring out how to do something more than actually doing it. I like to create stories, not create statues. Does that make any sense?
Yes, because, and you probably, I feel like you've probably observed this in me, but like I love the puzzle that has to be solved. And whether that's learning something new or figuring out how to edit a thing or make whatever the idea is, right? You have an idea. It's like, I kind of want to figure out how to do this thing.
Yeah.
And then that chase is thrilling. And then you get there and you're kind of like,
cool.
Yeah. Now what?
Yeah. Like when we...
So is that how you're saying doing this podcast has been?
Yeah, because like this podcast, the podcast that I do called Jar of Pain, it's all video. So, and I'd never done a podcast with video before, so I had to figure out like, okay, how does that work? Also, something I'm really inspired by is workflows. How do I make this as efficient as possible?
You're
so
speaking
I can
my
pump
language,
out.
baby.
So it's like, I think we had a conversation about it when I got a new computer, and I'm like, you're like, file management's going to be incredibly important for you. And so like I spent hours one Saturday, like 6 hours, creating a file management system that makes sense to me, that is intuitive, and I don't have to think about it. So I can, like, when I have an idea, I can execute efficiently. But now that work is done, and I pump out an episode a week, full video, clips, audio, everything, and I'm like, okay, people are listening to it. They enjoy it. We do live shows that bang, like they sell out, they go fucking nuts. But I'm still like, how? And it's also not fun for me to evolve a thing I've done. I'd rather just start something completely new. That does not lend itself to commercial success. But I've kind of just decided to deal with that in my own way. And now I kind of think of projects as like entrepreneurial efforts. And so like when you're an entrepreneur, you might have 1,000 ideas for a product or a service before anything hits. If I'm going to live my life every day in this hellhole we call Earth, I want to just do the things I want to do in my free time and not worry about the success of something. And if the success comes, I'll learn to deal with it. It's a lot easier to deal with something when you're on a beach. I'm not on a beach. So like if I'm not going to be on the beach...
Well, I can't really tell where you are right now. You are in the clouds.
I'm on... Well, something people don't know about Eau Claire is it's 30 miles from the surface of the sun. And if I just dip my head, you can really see that leak in. I have a wonderful west-facing wall that has a bay window, so I like the blurred effect. My house has become chaos because I have all these little things scattered everywhere. I'm in a one-bedroom apartment, baby. I like have things that I just tuck against the wall that I use a couple times a week. I don't have an organization system for my life yet. Only my files.
I've been really working on the organization system for my life because coming from the digital world where I have done a bunch of that, I'm like, I have to do this in real life too. Like, because I don't know. Like, I think just for me specifically, I thrive in a world with systems, so it like frees my brain. I don't have to worry that I lost my thing, my stuff, my clothes, my phone, whatever, if I have a place to put it or I know how to organize my shit. Like my cables, like all that shit is like overly nerd organized, but man, it like, I feel like it frees me from extra anxiety, and there's already too much of it floating around, so I need to get that.
Yeah. But it's like, what do I do with Mr. Tasty, you know?
Yeah,
So I have a lot of things like that.
Totally.
I have a hedge wall in my house. You can't see it now, but like that's the podcast background. And I have a whole box of extra hedges with different... I'm like, well, if I want to change up the hedge wall, so that box just goes in a corner. And then on top of that box is my cable box. That is where I keep my cables. It's organized. Doesn't look great, but it's organized. And on top of that, I got a guitar because I've been playing guitar more lately. Just trying to like get back into like songwriting and just like how I fell in love with music in the first place. Just like me and a guitar, just singing about some girl or, you know, whatever. And so things just kind of pile on the edges. It is an efficient system. I know where everything is, But I think many. Okay, yeah. Go ahead and gloat about your setup while I talk to you about the chaos.
No, I'm trying
that
to.
I live in.
It's about context.
But yeah, so like I know where everything is, but my God, if I brought like a date home, they'd be like this. Their first instinct wouldn't be like what I think it is, which is like, oh, this is how Albert Einstein lived too. Like their instinct would be, this is a madman, a complete madman, who has told me up front, I'm really passionate about my projects and I'll always do, just like want to let you know, like I'm always going to be pretty driven and need to have extra things to do. So like my projects, from the history of my life, my projects have always come first, and I don't want that to change yet.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but it keeps me going. I think it's good to have something to work on.
Well, yeah, and I used to work a corporate job that paid me lots of money, and I found no satisfaction in that. So, like, when I moved jobs, like, I technically took a pay cut. Now there's spiffs and commission and stuff involved where, like, I don't have to take a pay cut, but, like, it was kind of like a financial risk. But at the end of the day, I was like, if I'm gonna work till probably forever, what do I want my life to look like, you know? Like, I don't want to, like, work hard for 40 years and then have this, like, sunset decade before I die where I get to do everything I wanted. That doesn't, like, link up with... That doesn't make sense to me. It makes sense to a lot of people, and no disrespect to them, that's fine. But, like, I kind of thrive in the chaos a little bit, even though I'll complain about it a lot. But complaining is one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah,
I would never take that away from myself.
I feel the same way as someone who has spent a lot of time making these transmissions, which are basically journal entries, just bitching about what's going on. But what I realized is it's like what that act is it's you in real time trying to figure it out. You're like complaining aloud to like let your brain hear and work through its thoughts. And I think it helps.
Yeah, I've been practicing a lot of self-acceptance lately. Like, you'll note, I don't know if you can see this, I have a grease stain on my shirt. I noticed it as soon as you picked up the video.
Where? So
you probably can't even see it.
Kinda.
You can see a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, should I have him call me back and change my shirt? And then I was like, nah, this is me. I don't really care. You know, like, Feather likes me. Who am I trying to impress?
Yeah.
You know, like, it's just like, I play this little game with myself when I get insecure and anxious where I pretend I'm an eccentric billionaire. And, like, who would care if you're an eccentric billionaire? They're like, oh, there goes the eccentric billionaire. Yeah, he only wears tutus. But boy, that guy's successful. And,
dude,
like, that's like how I play pretend, but it, like, works for me.
Yeah, that's an important thing to practice because I think, the only way you get better at that is just doing it. And I say this as a guy who has recently got into wearing a poncho and moccasins. And it's not exactly the most, like, normie guy thing to wear.
No, I get it.
So, it's kind of like, I think the whole eccentric billionaire thing is like, it's a great model because you're trying to view yourself as like the archetypal version of you.
I'm already successful. Like, because the dream is, right, like, you find, like, all these insecurities and all these, like, you worry about what other people think. But especially when you're an artist, you have this, like, greener pasture dream where if you finally make it, you won't have to worry about any of that anymore. Which I actually probably think is a lie we all tell ourselves.
I think so, yeah.
But we could just start doing that now. We could just embody that mentality now and just, like, live a better life where we don't care about what people think about us.
So then can I ask you, I'm assuming if you're doing a lot of marketing, you're probably on social media a lot. And this is why you referenced this insane Nutter Butter page.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot. I call it R&D, research and development.
For real, but like...
I get paid to look at that stuff.
I mean, one more time, here's...
Yeah, click on one of the videos. Or there's one where there's just like peanut butter on a foot. It's just crazy.
Oh my God, what?
I know.
I don't like this.
It's incredible, isn't it?
I'm sorry. I'm just like triggered. I'm right back into this feeling like this is what kids are watching, and I don't know how I feel about
Yeah.
that.
But that brings me back to I want to capstone the original point that we were talking about then.
Yes.
Like what's at the end of the barrel?
Yeah.
They're like, because we started talking about how I work at a publication, like a magazine, arts and culture magazine. There, in the last, 6 months, there have been a couple major publications that had strayed from print publications in the 2000s, like 2010s, to do all digital content and only a website and newsletters and stuff like that. And they have now just announced that they're coming back with a magazine, and they're like they're gonna step away from digital content and do a magazine again.
Wow.
One of them is The Onion, which I think you're probably familiar with.
Yeah.
They're based out of Madison in Wisconsin, and they're a huge alternative publication. I mean, it's a satire newspaper. That's how it started. It was a satirical newspaper, and they did a lot of videos and they had a website and stuff. But like they're stepping away from the digital side. I'm sure they'll always have content online because you kind of have to. But they're going to reprint The Onion paper, and you can subscribe to it. And another one is Vice, the magazine Vice, which I think many people are probably familiar with, like Viceland, their TV network.
Yeah.
Their YouTube videos about like doing drugs or cartels and like a lot of like the deep underbelly type stuff.
Yeah.
But they went bankrupt in 2023, and then they came back and they're like, okay, we're not doing the website anymore. We're just going to be a magazine. And you can subscribe to it, and we'll ship it to you anywhere in the world. And we'll do 4 a year. And so they're going to probably sell print advertisements around that for revenue, I would imagine. And that's just, to me, I sent an email to everybody in my office when that was announced, when the Vice one was announced, because I would say like we're not as hard hitting as Vice, but we're definitely a counterculture, cultural, arts filled magazine. And I just said nature is healing, because a lot of the time what we get from like clients who like advertise in our magazine, or even people we distribute to, they're like, yeah, print is dying, print is dead. Like that's a really big phrase that people have been saying the last couple of years. But it's not. There's probably. Have you heard of the term AI slop?
No.
So, I don't know how often you go on Facebook. I love Facebook.
Never.
So it's really filled a lot with like AI content now, like AI bot content, and then other AI bots will comment on the AI bot content. And so what happens, and this happens on Instagram too. It happens. Well, less on TikTok till they figure out like how to do AI video really effectively.
Yeah.
But you just get, I feel like 40% of the Facebook feed is artificially generated, and that's not going to last long for us. We're going to want more. I truly believe that.
Well, I keep talking about how as that content gets more and more common, people are going to either not enjoy it or just like be sick of trying to figure out if it's real or not. And I think that that's too much energy. We don't have the energy to have to sit there and evaluate whether the post is true, unless it's obviously entertainment. But there's going to be a lot of this other stuff of people posting photos of this incredible shit they're doing. And everyone's going to be like, did Matt actually do that? I don't know. I don't want to have to figure this out with every post. I don't have the time for this. I'm off. I'm gone.
I'm going to read a book.
Yeah. So do you think that's what's happening? Is that why these people are switching back to print? I think that's fascinating. That's fucking wild.
I think so. It's extremely fascinating to me as a creator, because you're always trying to find the medium that you can best reach an audience. And I really think having like real, the value of real has skyrocketed in the last year and a half.
So tell me what you think real is, or what counts.
Just like made by a person, a real thing. It's someone expressing themselves, and you can do that with AI tools for sure. I honestly see a future where influencers on Instagram create AI bots for themselves to scale their profiles to every niche possible. But that's also like, that's a death rattle state.
Wow, that's wild to think about.
You know, imagine Kim Kardashian putting out a Taylor Swift style song, and she can do it instantly. And she can just feed the algorithm exactly what she wants to make, but make it in the Kim K way, you know?
Yeah.
And then she can post 100 things across every niche that exists. You know, 100 is that's just a number I'm using. It could be thousands. But you can scale your influence based on niche exponentially and infinitely. We're going to get sick of that. There's no longevity to that.
Oh yeah.
The longevity is in the process and the changing of a person and the growth of a person and interest of a person.
That's how I feel. I feel like you're not seeing that. I don't know, with anyone.
Like I don't care what Nutter Butter's dad is like in his late stages of life. But if one of my favorite artists wrote a record about his dad being in hospice and the last few weeks of his dad's life and how that changed him and how it changed the family and what that looked like, I'd cry. I'd cry to that. You know, so we're going to get back to a state where, like, we want things from people. And I think we always do. We do. And most of the stuff that's out there that's good now is from real people and creators. But I also think with everything out there, with how much content is out there, I think we're going to return to a model that's like, for lack of a better term, gatekeepers. You know, like how record labels used to be gatekeepers and they chose what was good. I think we will start relying on, you know, for lack of a better term, influencers or creators who curate certain things in their niche that is real. Because there's so much, we were going to require a human filter to tell us what we should be looking at, listening to, and spending our time on.
Well, so you're saying instead of algorithmic curation.
Yeah, I think it's gonna revert
and
back
so
to
how
human
do you think we can do that? Like, there's not enough people to personally curate, or you're just saying the people we follow would become the curators?
Sure. I do think the algorithm has gotten a little out of control.
Yeah.
And everything now is like, it's content-based algorithm. It's not about followers anymore. I mean, there's plenty of YouTube videos about this, so I won't go on about it. But if you're interested, just look up Patreon and that guy's name.
Mm-hmm.
He does a lot of 2-hour lecture sales pitches for Patreon that can almost convince me to get a Patreon.
I've seen it, and yes, I felt the same way.
He makes a lot of sense.
He does.
What he's saying is like true. It's like all true, but it's like at the end he's like, but here at Patreon, we have the solution. You're like, oh, this is. You got me into you promised me a free meal at Famous Dave's to sell me fire alarms. You know, I did that as a job once. But that's what that was, you know. But I don't know. I'm optimistic about everything. And I've been called toxically optimistic in the past, but I don't really showcase my pessimism or cynicism as much. So I think people only see the optimism. They don't really see the whole picture. When I am down low, I kind of just stick to myself and shut up.
Yeah.
But I still believe we're in the best time to be an artist because of the way we can get to people. But it's just getting really hard. And it's even Spotify now. Like, Spotify is an incredible tool, but every time I open the app, they're like, new record for you. And it's someone I've never heard of that definitely their label just paid to splash on my screen because I have common interests that they think will align with that band, you know?
So doesn't that feel like the curation you're talking about, though? Because Spotify was one of the first things I thought of playlisting, because that's usually, from what I understand of it and having been on playlists, like, that's done by a person.
I think it started pure, but it's becoming revenue-based. It started as a way to, like, here's how we edge out Apple Music. We're going to have awesome curated playlists by people who are tastemakers. And now it's become whoever pays the most will put on a playlist. You know, because there's also different levels of these platforms. When you have no money and no success, you don't get to use the platform like Taylor Swift.
No, you don't.
And no shade to Taylor Swift. What she's done is incredible. Swifties, I love you. Don't come at me. She's great. But it's just a different.
It's true. They
It's
have
like-
more tools for higher level artists, which is frustrating. And I don't know if that's just because of a resource based thing, but smaller artists can use the tools
it's probably
just
a little
as much.
bit of resource based. It's probably so, Instagram, TikTok, like they have advanced features that you can't have unless you have a certain amount of followers. It's also to tune down the noise. But then if they artificially like pump you with something you don't necessarily want to see, but someone thinks you want to see, that kind of ruins that gate to me. So I don't really know. We had a conversation a while back. I am less interested now in reaching people and more interested in what I'm making and what I want to make. And it's kind of like a field of dreams mentality. It's a hope, really. It's not a fact. It's a theory. It's a hope. If you build it, they will come. And something I say at work all the time is like, it's not our job to get people's attention. It's our job to be undeniable. And so when everything else goes away, there we are. And we've been there for so long that people can't question it. They know it's good. And I've been trying to be undeniable my whole career. And I do think I am eventually. I say this as a joke all the time to my like collaborators. Someday, someone's going to call my phone because they're going to realize I can make them a bunch of money if they give me money to make cool stuff. I really believe that. I'm like, that does not feel like a hope for me. It feels like an inevitability. And I've done so many weird things across different genres. I had an animated podcast during the pandemic, for God's sake. Like, it's, to me, it feels like a matter of time. And so it really brings me back to like when I wanted to be in a band and I was 16 and I was in high school. I would practice every single day in my bedroom with my bass guitar, and then I would put the bass down and I would practice singing. But I set up a whole stage plot in my bedroom in front of my closet, and I acted like the closet was the audience. And so I would spend hours a day. The only rule was I couldn't be loud past 8 o'clock. That was my mom's only rule, but she let me be loud up until 8 o'clock. She's probably just like, at least he's not out doing drugs, you know?
Yeah.
And so I would also go on YouTube at the time, watch a lot of Fuse TV live concerts, and I would study how other like singers and frontmen interacted with the crowd. How do they work? I would study it because I knew that when the opportunity came, I wanted to be able to sprint. I didn't want to have to like figure it out when the opportunity came. I wanted to be able to hit the ground running. And that's kind of how I feel right now with all my projects is like, I'm just practicing for the inevitable.
As someone who played with you, you are one of the best performers that I've ever been able to play with, and it's because
I'm electrifying.
You did that. Yeah.
And so right now it like I just feel like I'm practicing for the inevitability.
I relate to that a lot. That's kind of how I feel too. I'm like hiding out intentionally. In some ways not, but other ways I'm like I kind of need this time so that I can really hone in my thing and get so good at it that when it comes time, it's its own thing. It's quality. It's consistent. It stands a test of time, and it's not subject to fucking trend. It's you.
Yeah, because that's something I deal with working in social media is like I call it trend hopping. Like when a trend happens, like demure, very mindful, very demure. You got to like hop on that because you only have 48 hours to do it. I don't want to make art like that. I want to just make something that's like real to me and just use the tools that I have and that I have been practicing with for years.
Eric was just telling me about Demir. I called him a little bit ago. And I'm lucky to say that I kind of have no idea. I have not seen the vid.
You like don't have to have an idea anymore because it's done. And now it's probably like really cheesy to do that format of content. But for a second there, that was the pretty girl on the block, dude. You had to do something with mindful and demure in it. But that's just social media in general. You kind of have to follow the thing that people like. Everyone, are you in on the joke? Like that's such a thing.
Yeah,
that you have to be on top of.
I guess from what I asked you earlier, like how working at this job has affected you creatively, I'm surprised that needing to be so present amidst the landscape and culture of social media stuff hasn't affected you creatively too much. It seems like.
It has a bit. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
It has a bit, absolutely. Like, there's this kid I follow on Instagram, and he just watches lights turn off at different businesses, and he's like a 12-year-old kid, and he goes, "Today we're at Cabela's, and we're gonna watch the lights turn off." And then he's quiet for like 30 seconds, and the lights turn off, and he goes, "There it is, the lights turned off."
The
And
anticipation, though, of when it happens has to be priceless.
When I found it, I told my coworkers, I said, "This is a masterclass in content creation." He sets the expectation and fulfills it.
Does he? Is it like a kid? He doesn't realize he's that good, or is it a little bit thought out?
Oh, he's got brand deals now.
Yeah, but before when that all started, was it just?
I think he was just a kid who was
Okay.
interested in it, and
Okay.
he's like, "Mom, can we please film? They're about to turn off."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So it started very authentic, but these videos have 1,000,000 views plus, which is like, that's a good level to be at for a kid. But then I just like watched one today, because the reason I brought that up is because like I have a show coming up on Saturday, and to promote the show, I sat outside the venue and talked to the venue and was like, "I'm gonna do this thing when I wave my hand behind me, give me 15 seconds and then turn the lights off." So I was like, "I'm outside of Eau Claire Improv. We have a show coming up, and now we're gonna watch the lights turn off." And then it turned off, and I'm like, "There it is, September 28th, 7 p.m." And like that was like the best like traction I got off a promotional video yet. But I just like followed the format,
Yeah.
So I do a bit of it, but that's like promotional stuff. It's not so much like creative output,
Okay.
And I don't really consider my improv shows. Those aren't my albums. Those are my singles, That's just like me getting out on stage and connecting with the crowd and working out. And I love that. I really benefit from a crowd. I'm so much better in front of people. I know how to read a room. I know how to engage with them. I know what they want. And I can tell by their reactions what they want more of. And I just love that feeling. And that ain't ever going away, regardless of what I'm making. But I'm kind of using that as just like I'm like a drug addict for an audience,
I get that. It's why we put up with tours for so long.
Yeah, it's fun. It's validation, and I crave it.
I'll put up with terrible conditions if I get 30 minutes on stage.
Eat out of a gas station for 3 weeks and like sleep on floors, and drink cheap booze and wake up and not know where you are and have terrible nightmares about your family dissolving like watercolor. That's a real story.
Oh my God.
But like, I need that still, and I want that. So like, I found what's great about improv is I found something I'm good at that I can do that is like really low pressure and low maintenance. I don't have to prepare. I don't have to prepare for it because you can't. Mm-hmm. It's incredible, and it's not laziness. Like I stopped doing like traditional stand-up comedy because improv just made so much more sense, and it's not. I've been told I'm lazy. I've told myself I'm lazy for a long time. I just need it to be fun and engaging, or else I don't care about it. And I only care about the things that I care about. I don't know if that's laziness, because I work fucking hard at the things I care about.
I don't think it is. That's a very specific type of... I mean, like, it's the same reason you like shows. Like, yeah, we could rehearse our tracks, but every show is different. And when you get up there, you can't think too much.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just... Man, I love it. It feels like something I've been looking for that I didn't know existed. Like when I found it, because like the Jar of Pain show is improvised, but it's not like improv. But now that I've started doing like improv, like long form improv, I'm like, oh, this is the thing I was after. And that's a really cool feeling.
So you're doing long form improv like with a group?
Yeah, I've actually been taking improv classes. I did this improvised game show last week. And it was just gangbusters.
That's
dude.
awesome.
It was like Whose Line Is It? It was like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh, that's my favorite show growing up.
And I got to be a contestant, and like there was one bit where like I had to do a PowerPoint presentation, but I didn't know anything on the slides, and they like set them up to be kind of like odd and ridiculous. But man, after the show, I told the people who, my friends who organized the show, like put the show together, and I was like, I wish putting on a PowerPoint that I had no idea what it was my full-time job. Like, I wish that was my job.
Yeah.
Because that brings me so much joy. Connecting the dots on things like that and finding the through line narratively on things that don't fit together. Like, I'll also say I think I'm uniquely qualified. My brain works different.
You're very good at that, yeah.
And so like I can make really weird connections that don't make sense but do.
Yeah.
All the time people will be like, I heard what you said and I get it, but also I have no idea what you said.
Yeah, it's almost like the words don't make sense, but somehow them strung together elicits a subconscious feeling.
And there's like an emotional response.
Yeah.
They understand what I was saying.
Yeah.
I'm communicating on a deep level here.
Yeah, completely.
It's not about the words. It's about the delivery.
Yeah, I wish I had a list of things like that you've said over many years because
they make no sense. At one point I agreed to you and said like, well, avocados are expensive, and like that just became a quote we all said in the van. But that doesn't mean anything. But it also does, because avocados are expensive.
It means everything.
And that's why, like, I have this bit that I'm running for president in 2044. But now, in like the current political climate, I love watching like a chess game. You know, I love seeing what one side does and how the other side reacts, and vice versa. And I'm like, oh, this is all they're doing. Like, political messages are just like the drug of hope, and like hope for a better time. And so the words don't mean anything. They just say things that you agree with, and then everybody cheers. And it's this crazy game. And I'm like, I could be really good at that.
I can't believe that it's still the same rhetoric, really. I don't, like...
Dude, I said this on Threads the other night. I said, I believe America is the greatest country in the world. And I have 20 years to make you believe it too. And if I can make you believe it, then we can start acting like it. And America's at its best when it acts.
That's textbook.
It doesn't make... But that's nonsense.
It's so good,
people
though.
Are like, yes, dude. Yes. We've stopped acting in this country, and that's what's wrong.
It's like poetry. It's like a type of poetry.
Yeah,
it's like
it
let's
sends
just
shivers
string
down your spine.
Yeah, string some things together that roughly reference.
And it's so fun to watch. And that's like another reason I want to run for president is I want to know what goes on in there. And you never get to know what goes on in there till you're in there. And like I want to know about the aliens. Like I want to know about those things. And I think it's like the ultimate form of my curiosity driving my productivity is becoming president of the United States. And why not me? You know?
It's true. It can
I also think I'll be the first candidate in American history to say, I don't know, but I will find the best team to figure that out.
I wish,
I can't do it
more
alone.
people need to say that.
If people said, I don't know, what a fucking power trip that would be for a candidate. In a debate on the national stage, 40 million people watching, you ask a tough question, you go, I don't know, but I'm going to dedicate the next year of my life to finding out the best solution to that. And I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I do know when I don't. And I think that's earned some respect tonight. Oh, God, I don't know is like, that's something here. I've been doing this on my podcast lately. Matt, professional career tips. Instead of saying, I don't know, when someone asks you to do something and you're like struggling with it, you go, can you help me understand? It puts all the onus on them and gives them a little power trip. And you just tickle their ego tank.
That's so true.
And they just get to you and they're like, I understand. And this Dumbo doesn't.
I'd love
and I
to
get
show
to have
you.
a little power trip. Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's a good one. I'm going to write that one down.
Another one, fuck up on the first handshake when meeting an important person. Stop midway through the handshake, like squeeze their hand too early, stop, and then be like, let me try that again. I want to make a good first impression. So you show them, you prove to them that they're important to you. Oh, I do that shit all the time. I'm a slime ball, dude. But it works. It fucking works. That's how I've gotten every job.
And that's why you'll make a great president someday.
That's right. Imagine like the president of China, you shake hands and then like You're like, wait, let me try that again. I want to make a great first impression. You're a wonderful leader, and I want to be on your good side. It'll give him all the ego boost he needs for you to say whatever you want after that. You're like immediately ingratiated.
And where did you get that from? You just came up with it?
I just study people. I try things, and like sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I don't really have an example when it doesn't because I got a pretty good track record.
Okay, so aside from a presidential campaign, where are you at then in your artist journey? What are you working on? What are you trying to figure out?
Yeah. So I've been playing guitar a lot lately and singing in my apartment, to the disdain of my neighbors, I'm sure. But I realized that I've come a long way in my creative journey. I have all these tools to do whatever I want to do. But like I haven't just like played guitar and wrote lyrics and sang in like a really long time. Like since I was 16. As soon as I found somebody who was better at guitar than me, I just gave them the reins. But I used to love playing guitar and singing and writing songs. I used to like be so excited at school because I had a lyric idea, and I would like rush home, and I like before anybody got there, and I would sit in my basement and I would just like write something, and I was like, oh my god, like my output was insane. I was writing like a song a day, because I had no expectations. And so I've been doing a lot of that. I don't know if anybody's ever going to hear those. I've been kind of playing with the idea of like, no one's going to hear these, and that's all right. Because it's just kind of like therapy for me to like connect the circle of like how I started.
Yeah.
So I can start doing the next thing. Like it feels like full circle, like I'm just trying to connect the dots and figure out like, I'm always trying to get back to that space when I was like 16 and even younger than that, when I would like make Beanie Baby plays on my family's home video recorder, like that, being in the basement for hours doing something no one will ever see. I'm always trying to get back to that. But I also have been really interested in this. I just found this, for lack of a better term, that's my quote of the cast, dude. For lack of a better term, DJ called Girl Talk. And it's a record that came out in 2008 called Feed the People, or Feed the Humans. And he uses what I would consider very illegal samples. Like, there's no way I can, like, we're so constricted. Like, when you make stuff, you're constricted by copyright so much now because of how everything is blasted out.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to make a project where I don't give a shit. Like, I don't give a shit if it's illegal. I believe a direct quote is, I'm intrigued by illegality.
That's a great line for a president to have dug up during his campaign.
I don't care. I also, because people have brought that up to me before too, because I've said some wild shit on the internet.
Yes, you have.
And my retort to that is, by 2044, everyone's going to have wild shit they've said on the internet. I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I just don't think... You could just be like, I've grown and changed, and I'm allowed to do that. I'm sorry if you don't think that. I would take a look at your own life and see how you've changed.
I can't believe you can't say that and it pass.
If you're not experiencing the yearbook effect every 4 years of your life, where you look back in the last 4 years and go, "God, jeez, I was dumb."
Dude,
you're
is
not
it something
growing,
about
baby.
4 years? I was just thinking about this the other day because I've been digging out the back fucking supply closet and trying to get rid of waste, and I found some old like we called a memory box of stuff. There was notes and there was some stuff from the millennium in there and like all that. And I had this thought that I've always felt like my life has cycled in 4 year chunks. And
that's
even
how mine is 100%.
Why 4? Like I know like
no
high school and college maybe, but
that's my only.
Still, it's just like I really feel like I shed a part of myself every 4 years.
Yeah, my life changes every 4 years. That's just like, and it changes within that time frame, those time frames too.
Sure.
But I do witness like a comeback.
Yeah, there's
I don't know,
there's something going on out there in the ether, but
just feels,
there's almost like a moment or something happens where I go, oh, now I'm in a new age, a new phase of life. I don't know what it is, but is kind of trippy.
I don't know what it is, man. I also think like it could just be the way it is, you know? Like why are most movies an hour and a half? Do you know?
Retention.
Because our natural human sleep cycle is an hour and a half. Our natural REM cycle, or REM, not the band, rapid eye movement, is like an hour and a half. That's like one complete sleep cycle. So our brain works in hour and a half cycles. So that's why, like, retention is the correct answer, but that's why retention is like, you know, hour and a half, hour, 20 minutes. It's because our brains are set up functionally to work like that. I very much could see that's the way, like, our brain might work on larger chunks too. And maybe that's just how, maybe that's why we decided, like, K through 5, you know, like, in these, like, cycles, these 4-year cycles, maybe that's just how it worked out. Or it's a learned behavior because of the way we grew up in this country, going to school for, you know, 4 years at a time, college 4 years. It could be a learned thing too. Like, it might just be the way the cookie is, you know, and it's not the ingredients to the cookie, but it's just, it cooked for that amount of time. Culturally, I also see a bigger cycle, which is like, I feel like culture repeats itself every 30 years. Like you see,
Well, do you know
in the 2000s,
theory of the turnings?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a thing.
Well, like look at the 2000s and the low-rise jeans and everything like that, and the denim, like that's totally 70s. And we're like coming back up on that now, but like what's 30 years ago now is the early 2000s. We see all this, or no.
Yeah.
Late 90s, we see all this like goth shit coming back. You
Well,
know,
the,
like
the millennium crossover, like, I'm noticing that at least in pop and dance music, that whole type of, what would you call that pop? Like club pop?
Well, yeah, for sure.
And
but
graphically,
that feels very 90s rave culture to me.
yeah,
Like
it is.
house music, and look at the 20 teens, like 2016 through 2018, maybe a little before that. The 80s came back in a big way. Late 80s came back in a big way. So, yeah, you can kind of gauge what's next, but also as we become inundated with genre and style, I also think it's just going to become everything at once too. You know?
Yeah, you can find what you're looking for at any point in time, and you can
Yeah.
find others who are into it too.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you can use genre as a tool now. I think we've said that many times in creative conversations.
Yeah.
Like, I want this to be, you know, like, I want it to be, you know, like 2006 Warped Tour guitar sound. You know, like I think we're using it as a tool too, which is fun and cool. But then the next thing, to answer your question after this very long segue that I've kind of been answering, I have this live show called Jar of Pain. It goes gangbusters. I'm gonna kill Jar of Pain. I'm gonna kill it, even though it's successful, because I want to do a classic 70s style late night talk show live and on stage once a month, monologues, the whole shebang. This idea has come about in the last month, and I'm just really invigorated by that idea.
Do you have any interest in keeping like a small part of Jar of Pain alive with it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's a segment.
Yeah.
I think this late night talk show, like any great late night talk show, like they have segments.
Yeah.
I think Jar of Pain is a segment of that. But to me, it feels like Jar of Pain is a wonderful tomato plant. I want to plant a garden with a bunch of tomato plants.
Variety, baby.
Yeah. I love that kind of stuff. And it allows for collaboration. I really love my comedian counterpart, Ben, who I work with on Jar of Pain. I think he's very funny, underrated and funny. His sensibility is completely opposite of mine. He's really dark and twisted. I'm really light and odd and absurd. But those two things together really make a great pie. And I can be really dark too, but I'm just a little bit different about it. I'm a little more sly.
Yeah.
He wears it on his sleeve. But he's great. He's a great joke writer, you know? And I just, what late night TV has turned into is it's trying to bend into the internet, but it doesn't fit right. So it's just odd and weird. And I just want to bring back classic. There's so much pomp and circumstance with classic TV. That this was appointment television. People loved it. Families would crowd around. Kids would ask to stay up late just to watch the Johnny Carson monologue. That shit doesn't happen anymore. But I think it could. I absolutely think it could. In a age of endless choice, there is value to limit and appointment. And I want to play with that. And so that's why I like the idea of killing Jar of Pain, which this is a exclusive information because we just made the decision yesterday. Even if someone had seen it and was interested but never seen a show, if you tell someone it's going away, they're like, wait, I always wanted to see that. I'm infatuated with the idea of limiting people's consumption of what I do.
Yeah.
And using that as a tool for interest. And I don't know how far that goes, but something that's rare. Like, I want to be rare, you know? And, like, either you're in or you're out. If you're in the inn, what a great place to be, but you got to catch it at the right time. And then you could, like, bring back water cooler conversations. Now you go, like, did you see that thing? Yeah. You know, like, everyone's seen everything. There's no more conversations that happen about stuff. When Lost came out, the best part of Lost was talking to the other people at school about last night's episode. Watching it was fun too, but the conversations and the theories you would have about what was going on, that was Lost. We were all lost. That was the golden part of that show. And we've lost that because now you don't watch things at the same time as anybody else anymore. You do see segments of that, like Game of Thrones, very much appointment television. Like when the last seasons or the new seasons, there are certain things that come up and it's appointment based, and they're cultural moments. Like, I want to create cultural moments like that, and that's setting the bar extremely high. But
So you want to do it live
on stage,
in front of an audience?
In front of an audience,
Okay.
I can't be without an audience.
Live stream as well?
I would love to live stream it. I don't know if that's a capability in the space that I'm allowed to use.
You could do it.
Yeah, I actually might need your help on that.
Would love to help. But
because
so
I've been trying to convince them just to get like a recording setup for video, like just a multicam setup that just records constant, and then I can edit it together. Like, I've been telling them, like, this would be a huge value to the people you have coming through this space. Just telling them you have that, you could either A, charge them for it, for like the actual tapes, or B, that would be like, if someone asked me to do a show and they're like, I can't pay you much, but I record the whole thing, and then I can use that to promote other shows, that's like a huge benefit to me.
Totally.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
But I would love to live stream it, yeah.
Do you want to then, with this exclusivity thing you're talking about, does that include creating content of it? Or does it only exist in its performance?
Bro, I've got no idea.
That's what I'm really curious about, because in a way it still allows people to watch it at a different time from its post content.
I mean, you could muddle it down into... You could put the whole episode as 1 minute clips on YouTube Shorts and just like, if you want to do it this way, you're gonna have to work for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that, because I can't tell if the content aids to the problem that you're describing, because I think you're right. I think there's a lot of powerful moments to be had of an audience all together at one time to see it happen. And the content can take away from any incentives to do that, because people go, well, I'll just see the minute recap of it and get the gist.
I think the key then, and I'm in research and development right now, so we're figuring it out. Replicate the feeling of the limited live show, like you had to be in the room, in an online format. Clips going out Saturday morning at 10 a.m. it's gone Sunday at 10 a.m. You know, something like that. You can release it and then you get rid of it. Now, this does not bode well to the current monetization model of content, but I don't think I give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't think I care anymore. I can't make things to try and fit the. I'm not part of the puzzle that's happening.
Well, I just strongly believe that it is a way to grow, to make money, whatever. It is not the only way. And if you remove it from what you're going to try to use to make money, you'll come up with other ways to do it.
Yeah, you just have to be smarter. That's it. You just have to figure out like
or more creative.
Yeah, smarter is the wrong word.
Yeah.
Creative is the better word.
Yeah.
Like, but you can, if you got eyeballs, you can sell them. if you have people's attention, someone will want to buy a little slice of that. That's entertainment, baby. That's what it is. Whether that means, you know, during the show, I'm drinking a liquid death, you know, and like maybe it's only the people in the show, but people love the show so much when they see it that is more impactful. Like you could sell a more impactful presence for an advertiser, but also, I don't want to be strapped to an advertiser's back either. Because then again, they're paying you, they have expectations. You can't say certain things. I don't want to do that either. And it's kind of this whole like thought stirred in me once. We were recording an episode of the podcast. And there's a thing with like YouTube where if you swear in like the first 10 minutes, it's like it's really easy to get demonetized. Like that's kind of like what the algorithm catches first.
That's probably not great for me. Like immediately swearing.
Well, just wait. I'm gonna get you. I said, wait, we shouldn't say that. We're gonna get demonetized. And then Ben goes, what? I was like, you know what? No one's gonna fucking see this. We can say whatever we want. And like that triggered. That was like, oh, light bulb. I shouldn't try and like fit in with the puzzle. Like, just make the best thing. Make the most true thing. And the truth is, I say fuck.
Yeah.
You know? And if, like, maybe just, like, something will come along that fits it. Again, if you have attention, you can monetize it. That's just, like, what it is. And I don't know what that looks like yet. And it probably won't happen for a while. But I just think, man, I want to do classic TV, pomp and circumstance. I want a song that rips. Also, I want to call it the Happy Happy Birthday Awesome Show. Because it's just so stupid and absurd.
I like it.
A segment we brainstormed yesterday was Birthday of the Week. Which is, you know how I go on
like
YouTube
from
and
history?
I find all these... Yeah, like you can go on YouTube and just look up birthday.
Susan B. Anthony's birthday today.
No, but you can find videos of other people's birthdays.
Oh, okay.
And I like watch them and break down their family dynamic. I wish I had an example. I should have prepared an example. But like breaking down the family dynamic, that's like a really fun thing I do when I'm stoned. And just see like, wow, mom's really mad at dad today in this one, you know, like, and
yeah,
because the thing with content that no one's seen, let me rephrase that. The thing about content that people make that they have no intentions of anyone to see is it's truly a portal into their lives. I love that. I love that shit so much. And I wish there was more of it. But I could make it, and there would be more of it too, you know? I could curate that for people.
Yeah, so do you mean in the sense that... Because you've always mentioned like digging up old videos that... It's like before people knew what content could be. Before content was content. That really feels like a window into someone's life. Whereas now, these days, I feel like it does, because they're so aware and so like almost curating what you see, it doesn't feel like it's actually...
People are camera ready at all times. Dude.
Yeah.
And even if they're not, if you're like, wait, I want to take a picture, or I want to take a video, or I want to do a snap, people know how to get camera ready in like less than 3 seconds. Like they do their hair, like they know everything they have to touch on their body to be camera ready. They know everything they got to say to be on camera. They know how to smile. They know what to do with their eyebrows. They know how to pose their back, their shoulders, their ass, their taint. And so like we've lost all authenticity that way. And you do see artists pop off who are just absolutely authentic. And you see videos pop off on TikTok of like video. I swear these people just think they're sending direct messages.
Yeah.
Like you just be like a cracked out guy with a fan above him on TikTok and be like, Jenny, take me back, please. I'm so sorry. You know, I had a hard day at work when we had that fight. Like, bro. And then it gets thousands of views. And that's like thousands in the scope of like how many views things get to be viral, like isn't a lot. But 1,000 people watch this man cry his heart out on TikTok for something that he thought that a really intimate moment for just him and Jenny. That's equally sad and intriguing as hell.
Yeah.
I just love that.
I've been really into, I've found I'm getting more and more drawn to like imperfections and
yes, dude. I've been thinking about this a lot too.
Everywhere, right? Like in music, in shows and stuff, even videos that I'm making. I'm like,
man.
I think at first it was out of necessity, and then I realized that, I think I actually like it better because it's not only is it less predictable, which makes it more interesting because you
they
don't
also can
know.
tell it's real.
You can tell it's real, and everyone's
It's
just
like
trying to see something real out here these days.
Everyone, when you perform concerts like we used to do, you were like, God, I hope I play the parts right. I hope it sounds good. But let's be real. If you were the biggest Bruce Springsteen fan in the world, and you were watching him at Madison Square Garden, and midway through Born in the USA, Bruce's pants fell down, that is a once-in-a-lifetime experience that you got to see as a fan. That is so much more valuable than getting it right. But we've just lost that because we live in an age of perfection. We've lost the value of that. I don't even have the courage to do it myself. The most I've done is when I'm putting like a graphic on a video, like a graphic splash or, like text, I've purposely misspelled things. So I get people in the comments going like,
"Oh, that's
it's
good.
It's there, not there."
That's a good idea.
You get those fucking there, and then it just like ups your engagement like crazy, and they don't even know that I'm like, "Come into my woods, young man."
Dude, good idea. That's smart. Yeah, if I edit anything, if I'm making a song, I am more and more. I'm like, fuck it, don't care. I'd actually rather this be this way. It's just not only it also just kind of makes it more enjoyable because you don't have to stress about it. And if
it doesn't, like, it comes back to the thing I said about like demonetization, right? Oh no, they're gonna demonetize. Oh no, they're gonna know it's wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
You're in the same place you were before that. Like
that freedom is so huge, and it took me a while to climb up from under that one because
I still do it. I'm a perfectionist at my core. It's part of my insecurity. And also like it's part of my insecurity for not releasing things. Like I created this infomercial for Jar of Pain, which I love. I put it off for weeks, I started it, stopped it, couldn't figure it out. And I was talking to Ben about it because we had a show coming up and like we need questions. Like if anybody's out there right now, go to jarofpain.com, ask me a question about life because people have stopped asking questions and like the show doesn't work without people's questions. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, we need a question campaign. So like we need to make a video, we need to be posting, we need to be talking about this every podcast, every show. Please ask questions at jarofpain.com. It's anonymous, it's free, it's very easy. So I was putting off, and I was like, Ben was like, he goes, everything you make is better than the last thing you made. I'm not worried if it's bad. And I was like, all right. He just like, he gave me the bro like fist bump, like, you go do you, bro. Go soar.
Yeah.
And it ended up being, I finished it in an hour and a half after that. Like, I had it in me the whole time. I just was too concerned with it to make it. That's a terrible feeling. God. And I still have that feeling all the time, even at work, especially when you're getting paid for it. I have that feeling all the time. But if I could just train that muscle to like not care, and if a mistake happens, and if a mistake happens that everybody sees in today's day and age, great. That's a great thing to happen. That's actually the best case scenario.
Yeah,
If-
well, I feel like everybody forgets so quick, anyways.
Oh
So it's
my
like,
god. That's why when you talk, you're like, I didn't even see Demir. I'm like, you don't have to. It's done.
yeah,
We're done now.
I kind of feel like short form social media in all its platforms and shapes is like newspaper. It's
Yeah.
just you look at it, all right, throw it away. You never know. You're not picking the newspaper up again to reread it. It's the content in there is not that life changing or valuable.
The whole value of the newspaper is that it's new every day.
Right, and that's what the content feels like.
Yeah.
And
I
don't
also
know.
started reusing content like a motherfucker.
Bro, I'm so glad you brought that up because I was just talking to Sadie about this because she's also struggling with this. She gets a ton of her clients from Instagram. But I'm like, I have a feeling based off of this newspaper thesis that you could reuse content for perhaps forever and
Yeah.
it would operate just as effectively as if it was new every day.
Yeah, like after this conversation, I'm going to make a show about an ad, like I call them ads, but a video about our live show coming up. I'm just going to reskin the one I made for the last show and just change the poster at the end of the video. But
Yeah.
everything will be like, I'll change the dates, I'll change the times, but everything's going to be the same. No one knows.
No one will know, and even if they did, I don't think they're going to say or do anything about it. They're just going to be like, okay, I have that information now, and next. And
Yeah.
like, you could do that forever. And it
I
would-
really think that, yeah.
Okay, so I'm not crazy about that. I've been just kind of like thinking about this, and I'm like, well, one, it's not sustainable. So I've been really like trying to find a sustainable relationship to even consider re-entering social media.
Yeah.
And that's kind of something I think might help. So
Yeah,
good
it's
to know.
There's just, and again, these are all theories. These are all my theories.
We're just
but
figuring
like,
it out.
But like, we don't have teams. Like, it's better to figure out a way to make it work for us than it is to try and work for them.
Yeah.
Because we don't have, it's inherently hedonic, never-ending, and exhausting to try and keep up with a machine that is being built by thousands of people a day, millions of people a day. One person cannot keep up with that. Now, you can get to a level where you have 30 people working for you, you can keep up with it. That's not the reality of most people. It's not normal to be making $300,000 a year making content. That's not normal. And it's become normalized, but it's the same thing as like, it's the same thing as anything. It's like models in the 90s. They're anorexic. Da-da-da-da. Well, yeah, because it's not normal. But then everyone tries to adhere to those certain standards, but it's not. It's not real. And real has never been more valuable. So what are we doing? I actually find myself more clarity when I talk with you than in my own head. Right now, I'm like, God damn, I'm spitting fucking fire out here. Jesus Christ. And when I'm in my own head making something, I'm like, this is not good. You're not good. You're never going to make it. You're never going to make it, buddy.
That's why you can't, you can't do this shit on our own. Like, it's not helpful. There's no feedback. There's no, you can't ride each other's, like, energies.
Yeah. But my best case scenario is someone becomes a fan of me, and whenever they do, and then they can just look at everything I've done and been like, wow, he's done a lot of different things, and they're all good for different reasons. I should probably see what this guy's going to do next. That's my best case scenario. And even on top of that, eventually I want to get to a point where I just say, excuse me, edit that out. Eventually I want to get to a point where I don't even promote what I'm doing. I just say when I'm doing it.
That'd be
And
nice.
people will show up. Jack White's doing that right now. His tour is unreleased dates, and he just posts on social media like, show tonight, Austin. This small fucking venue, be there. And then in 2 weeks he's like, show tonight, Berlin. This small venue, be there. And like those are probably all pre-booked and figured out things, but he's just chosen not to do the regular hype content train. But again, you limit, like, that's marketing 101. It's limiting, and it's a combination of limit and also what's the word for quick? Something goes away fast. Limit and not energy, but it's like it inspires you to do something. Oh, I can't think of it. Oh
Action?
God, Chet,
No.
not action. Action's closer.
Impulse?
Oh, impulse is closer too. We can get off of this, but yeah, it's just availability and. See, now that I'm looking for it, I will never find it. And
I'm hoping it was just going to come out there.
Dude, that's improv, baby.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times in my own life? This is why I think I'm good at improv. I've been improvising everything for all time. The amount of times I've opened my mouth in corporate boardroom meetings, and I had no idea what was going to come out. And I was like, I'll find it. Just, oh. Man, this is fun.
It is. Thanks for answering the call.
Yeah, dude. You know I got you.
You never know.
Dude, I've been on a new Whole Foods diet. You'll find this interesting. You know, you understand the concept of Whole Foods. I'm sure you do. So I've just been feeling like shit, you know? I've been really, really busy. So, like, I've been relying on quick and takeout type of food. I've just started feeling like shit. And so I'm like, I need a reset, you know? So I started looking at this whole food thing, and I'm like, well, I like to cook. It's just basically protein and vegetables and, like, choice carbs. Like, if it fits in, like, I'll like, I have a really great, you know, split wheat homemade loaf of sourdough bread that I have a slice of every day, but it's not like processed, you know? But man, I feel great. And, I'll tell you one other thing I feel. Hungry all the time.
Yes. A familiar sensation.
What's going on there? They said that protein was good for hunger, but like 4 p.m. rolls around, I'm like, holy fuck, I am ravenous.
Yeah.
Like, I had a chicken breast, berries, asparagus for lunch, and I'm ravenous, but I had so much volume of food.
Yeah, I always eat till I'm very full, and it's never enough food. I'm never gaining weight like I'm trying to, but I think it's just the food's so clean, it can get digested easier, more efficiently. And
Tell that to my colon. But I think I'm in an adjustment phase. I've only been doing this 4 days.
Well, especially if you're eating more protein than normal, that's a big thing.
I feel like I've always had a lot of protein, but
probably not as much as you think if you're also eating other processed foods.
What gets me is I'm a big rice guy. I love rice.
Yeah.
Rice, like I'd always fill out the meal with like rice or pasta or rice and beans or something like that. And I think that kind of stuff just like sits in your stomach and probably just like, because it can't be digested, it like makes you feel full for longer.
Yeah.
Because it's just in there. You're full. You're filled up. But now I'm like, and I think my gut is just, you can cut this out if you want. I don't care.
This is fucking everything, baby. Stripped.
But it's just like, bro, my colon is having a hard time adjusting. He doesn't have the tools for this.
He'll find him. He's got a whole team in there. He just has to trust. He has to trust his team.
My brother's been doing carnivore, and he told me the same thing. He's like,
"Yep,
I was constipated for like a week, but then it flowed like lava, and now I'm good." Like, it just, his body had to like, whoa, what's going on here? And like adjust to him.
And I think that's kind of any diet from what I understand, but your body is good at adapting to what it needs to do. It just doesn't know what it needs to do until it figures out what the new normal is. It needs to reappropriate its resources to whatever life's going to be.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah,
that's good.
Me feel
a big
good.
fan.
I feel very energized. It's hard for me to get to bed because I have this like, it's what they always talk about, right? This clarity, this like vivaciousness that you didn't realize you didn't have.
Yeah.
I've been sleeping. Oh my God. My sleep has been so good. Like when I actually get to sleep, it's like, you know, when you're a kid and your mom puts you to bed and you close your eyes
and you're
then you open
knocked
your eyes
out.
daytime.
That's what yours is like?
I've been sleeping so good, I feel like I missed out on sleep.
Damn, dude, I'm so jealous. I sleep not well.
Dude, well, and I used to wake up like 2-3 times a night. But what's nice about that is you wake up at 4 a.m., you're like, nice, I got a couple hours till my alarm goes off. Now I just wake up to my alarm and I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
I miss that. I miss the laying awake and being like, oh, I wonder what today's going to bring.
Yeah.
Are aliens real? It's got it. It's been up there. And then you just kind of snooze out a little bit. I miss that. But yeah, it's just like hit the pillow, go on my phone. Bad habit, I know, but fuck me. I love it. God, I
fucking love it.
That's my best content time, dude. I watch live stream Rocket League players till 11 p.m. on my phone, and something about it just fills me with life. And yeah, it does. It can like take me 5-10 minutes to fall asleep, but I put on a podcast with a sleep timer, something goofy with a narrative, like a D&D podcast.
Podcasts are nice before bed. I do like that.
Dude, you want to hear a real weird opinion? Spotify podcast better than Apple Podcast for sleeping. Apple Podcast, 30 minutes cuts it off immediately. Spotify podcast, you have like a minute wind down where it slowly gets quieter.
No way.
Oh,
wow, that's a shame.
Why
Apple.
Can't everybody do that? You know what else I'm upset about? Now that we're here, and I've never ever had a place to complain about this, and complaining is one of my favorite things to do.
Please, I love to bitch. Let it out.
Podcast sleep timers are incremental. They're incremental. So I just want to get an example here.
So like you're saying there's a set
it's
type.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45
you
an hour.
You can't just type it in.
It should just be like how the timer app is, where you can just do like 45, like 20 minutes would be perfect for me. I don't want 30 minutes. I don't last that long ever.
Yeah.
And on the chance that I do last 30 minutes,
now you're awake.
It's usually because I'm not going to sleep much, so like I want another 30 minutes. So 20 minutes would be perfect for me. Because I just don't understand why. That seems easy to me. They already have that code. They know how to set timers.
Yeah, I could go on and on about apps that are missing what feel like obvious features. And I don't know.
That's a different call. I'm going to be honest with you.
That is a different call. You're like, I have some...
My only thing is the podcast timer. That's the only thing I'm upset about.
Oh, man, I'll throw a fucking fit about... I won't use an app if it feels poorly designed. I'm like that type of guy.
Sound like me back in the band days. I get a cutie's number,
and she's not blue.
It's a green text.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dear, you're not going to be my wife. That's just we could have been soulmates.
Everybody gets that. Everybody agrees with that.
Your parents couldn't afford an iPhone. Because we all know in our 20s, like those girls, even in 2021, their parents were rich.
Yeah.
A lot of their parents were rich.
They were Mac families since the first color iMac came out.
I was trying to hook onto the golden teat, dude.
The golden teat.
Just produce children and inherit money.
Oh, that sounds great.
Produce children, inherit wealth. That was my original career trajectory. That's what I was going for.
You're not far off.
I mean, I still could. I would love. Never mind.
Is that a sunset? I can't tell. No, you face.
No, it's a sunset.
Oh yeah, it does face west. That's right. That's what you said.
I get beautiful sunsets. Sunsets. The best sunsets here. Yeah, it overlooks downtown Eau Claire, so I get to see bay window, dude.
Big move. Yeah,
there's currently an exercise bike in the bay window, which is nice when you're exercising, but you also don't get to sit there and have coffee.
You can have coffee on your exercise bike? Good pre-workout?
No, I'd shit myself, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
If I get on that thing in the morning, it's a problem. I gotta wait till after it comes out. I've shit myself in the woods many times.
Not on a bike, though.
Well, yeah. I guess if I position myself on the seat all right, kind of cork it up.
That is true. You could take the seat off and then actually cork it.
Yeah, or I could fill the metal tube
Yeah.
and then donate to Goodwill, and they'll be like, "Why does it smell like shit?" I'm like, "It is shit. This is shit.
This is a shitty bike, dude. I don't want it. It's a shitty bike.
Shitty bike, dude. I don't know. It's well used. Well used.
Thoroughly used, in fact. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, don't take that seat off. No, it doesn't come off.
Oh, man. Well, are you starving then, based off what you said? Have you made your dinner?
I need to make a chicken breast and a sweet potato mash desperately.
I think I'm going to make some ground meat something tonight.
Dude, I've been on the ground grass-fed beef game.
Nice. Big fan.
Beef is so much better than anything else.
You know what I fucked around with for a while? It depends where it's available. Is
lamb?
What's called a paleo blend. And it has...
They don't got that. They don't got that here.
It has some organ meats in it.
Oh, yeah, they do have that here. They don't call it paleo blend.
Go to a butcher, not like a grocery store, but... Yeah, it's probably something different.
But, like, we have a lot of small family, like, meat producer farms up here in Wisconsin. Like, they'll deliver to your house. It's not like a subscription service that anybody could have, but, like, you live in town, they have a Facebook page, and they're like, we're doing deliveries next week. Who wants, you get this many steaks, this much ground beef, but it's like,
right.
For lack of a better term, ching-ching, farm to table. It comes from, I do like that. It's just more expensive.
Yeah.
So much more expensive.
Yeah.
But I think it is a higher quality when I have had it. I've been trying to get my family to, like, get a cow.
Dude,
you know what I mean? Like,
yes. My dad, I know, has for a while done a half cow or something like that.
Yeah, so you can buy, like, half a cow, a full cow, and it's just, it ends up being, like, $5.99 a pound for, like, great product. You just got to have the freezer space. But, like, my parents have a huge chest freezer, so I'm like, Mom, we should go in on a cow with,
big time.
My brother and my sister, and then everyone can have their slice of it. Because, like, it would just be so much cheaper for me, and then you just freeze it. It's the best. And I like the fact that, like, this is coded in what I do now, because I'm all about community right now in my job, but, like, there's something special about giving money to someone locally. Because a local dollar, if you tip your bartender at the local dive bar, then they tip their barista. And that barista uses it at a local clothing store for their child on school clothes. Like, that dollar it doesn't go away. It stays here. Like, if I give my money to Starbucks, it goes to Seattle. Like, the worker gets paid, but that money leaves the town. But when you do it locally, like, $1 could be worth $5 of local economic impact. That's a huge impact. That your money is worth 5 times more when you spend it locally. I'm going to be president one day. I'm telling you.
It boggles my mind that people Volume 1, yeah.
People don't think about that, but, like, don't you want to give your money to somebody who's raising a kid next door? Like, if that was, like, a perfect scenario, like your neighbor had a farm. I want to help them raise their family. I don't want to buy another yacht for somebody.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. It also feels more just better for the planet, Like, there's a big thing around here called regenerative agriculture, where these small family farms, they're set up in a way where, like, the farm itself is an ecosystem, and so they have, these type of plants like the manure from the type of animals we raise too. So, like, it's a self-sustaining cycle. Whereas, like, factory farming, you've been to Texas. I was there with you. You see, like, miles of these factory farms. Like, that's not good for the earth. But there's a way to do it it's just small scale. People can't make billions of dollars off of it, but a lot of people can make an honest living. That just seems like the better choice to me.
Yeah. That was pretty disturbing seeing that for the first time.
Yeah, I believe you claimed on video, I choose to only eat chicken. Or something like that.
Did I say that?
You're on camera saying like you put 3 feet. You're like, I vow. Chicken.
Oh my God, I did do that. That's right. Yeah. Wow, that has not held up well.
Because of the atrocities I've witnessed today. And now, dude, you're like, so I get this organ meat.
Yeah, a lot of
Red meat.
Red meat, yeah. Oh man. Yeah, but the chicken farms are much better, so.
No, we've driven past plenty of those in Iowa too. Or like, most of the chicken people eat is not real chicken. It's a lab-grown chicken. By lab-grown, I mean like extremely genetically modified through selective breeding to have chicken breasts so big it can't walk.
Yep.
And the hormones that they put in it to grow it as fast as possible, you can tell when you have a piece of cheap chicken. It's like woody, you know? It's like stringy and woody. And it's huge. There's chicken breasts at like Costco that are like 2 pounds. That's not good. Who's that for? Not me.
Yeah.
Not for me. But then you're like, I want the organic one, pasture raised. And they're like, well, it's $15 a pound. Whereas the other one is like $3.99 on special, and you can get 10 of them. It's just, we're fucked. We don't have to be, but we are. It's also fun to be fucked.
It's the best.
This is like,
I love being fucked.
Yeah, man. If the world is burning, dance in the ashes.
Eccentric Billionaire.
Don't even get me started on all the videos about an alien spaceship coming. Have you seen these?
What? No? What are you referring to?
So, are you familiar with the James Webb Telescope?
Yes.
So, there's a rumor, and none of these things ever get proven, and it's always like, more soon, details to come. But apparently, do you know how the James Webb Telescope operates?
Not really.
So the way it operates is it measures light coming from a star, and it measures the flickers in the light over long distances, like the subtle changes in the light to judge whether planets exist, because planets cross in front of their star when they're in orbit, right?
I'm familiar with that.
They stick on a star for a really long time. So we found many planets this way, and it's even to the point like they have sensors like detailed enough that like it can even estimate like what the atmospheric content is because of the way the light bounces through that atmosphere as it casts a shadow. That's how they're able to predict like, oh, there's these many Earth-like planets, whatever. So eventually, I guess it found this object that like initially it thought was a planet, and then they kept watching it, and it like got a little bit closer to us, right? But not like directly on our path, but like it got like closer, and they're like, "Whoa, that's we've never seen that before." And now they're like, it course corrected to be more in line with us, and they're predicting that it's 10 times the size of Earth.
I was just looking this up, and it says the top hit is James Telescope object course correcting.
Yeah, and course correction is
this is
believe
fresh.
It or not.
This is fresh information.
Yeah, this is breaking news. Course correction, believe it or not a natural phenomenon. Like asteroids just don't change direction. They have an orbit. They have, So I don't know what that is. It also could be a hoax. I don't know what that is. It's an easy clickbait title. Something's on its way. People love that. It reminds us of death, the inevitability of death. Something's coming for you. God, humans love that. And we perk our ears up like prairie dogs. We love that shit.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be pretty sick.
Would it?
I think we need something on this planet.
It would change everything.
Everybody needs perspective. They need to either go out in space and see another planet, or another planet needs to come to them.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It would be a gift to not worry anymore about anything.
Oh.
So, but here's the thing. Aliens come, we still paying rent? Like, do you go to work? How does that? What? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And you could think of it like that. What's that movie, District 9?
yeah,
All of a sudden in South Africa, a ship showed up and just sat in the air
right.
forever.
And it's like you can't
People
just
couldn't
stop
get
living.
people couldn't get in. It wasn't making any noise, and so like eventually things came out of it, but like it just sat and waited. So like, what if we just like one day got a new moon, but it was a square, it was a spaceship, and we sent shit up there all the time to figure out what it is, and we don't even know what it is. For a couple days, it would probably like mess things up, but eventually we'd just like go back to normal. That's wild. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it would change much at all. And yeah, it's crazy.
Well, it's kind of like the concept of like when you're in an area that is currently like dealing with wartime, most
people still go to work.
Most of the people aren't fighting. They have to keep living life. So either you have to hide because you're an immediate threat, or you have to go like...
They still have birthdays.
Yeah. It's kind of bizarre, but like...
Yeah. You don't think about that.
Yeah.
Because life doesn't stop. Like, you still need food.
Yeah, you don't... It's not like pandemic. That's a terrible example of like what people probably think war is like, and it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just chilling for like,
and like
a while, and like the
like,
government's sending us money, so like we're just gonna wait this bitch
not how
out.
It works. If anything, like during World War II, you worked harder.
Yeah.
Because like, and your food was rationed. You thought people who didn't want to wear masks were annoying. Wait till it's the people who like, I want steak. What do you mean I'm out of credits for steak? Oh my God, dude. It's going to be insane. And it's inevitable to some degree that conflict. I think conflict is inherently inevitable. Maybe that's a bad attitude for the future president to have, but I also we're people.
Conflict doesn't always need to be bad. I don't think conflict can mean that.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's an intersection of opposing viewpoints. Now, how you deal with the conflict, right? Are you trying to compromise and make it fair and try to understand a perspective of everyone involved? Different story.
Yeah, it's very optimistic when a large part of the U.S. economy is spent on defense budgets. And Boeing and Raytheon, and you got those guys whispering in the government's ear, going, "Dude, the economy needs this.
Yeah,
America's better when we're at war." And you're like, maybe it is. Bomb them. You know, like it's. In a lot of ways, I feel like in America we're set up to fail, and that's something I'd like to change. But we're so indebted because of capitalism, and I actually think capitalism can be good. I mean, I have a big TV, but it's like capitalism has allowed for us to live at a higher standard of living than any other humans at any other point in time in our lives that we know of, that we actively know of. But there's some dark sides when you're treating things as profit. There's some dark things there. And I don't know how you have a little bit of both. China is a dictatorship, but they also have capitalistic tendencies. They steam vent the dictators steam vent dictatorship with capitalism so everybody's happy and making money. People love that. But in America, it just feels like, in a way, we're set up to fail. Also, do you know how expensive it is to be poor? I've been poor. You're buying a new pair of shoes 5 times a year because you keep wearing out the soles. When you're rich, you buy a $600 pair of shoes. That shit's good for life. What?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it feels like we're set up to fail.
Yeah.
And if you don't go with
Same
the
with
system,
the food or what you're eating and affecting your health, and now you're paying for health bills and like that whole cycle. And
yeah, well, thankfully McDonald's is so expensive now. It's basically like having a full organic course meal. So I forget when did I have fast food last? And I was like, what the fuck? It was like some like shitty thing where like I was coming home from the cities from like a comedy show, and I was getting home at like 1 a.m. and like, oh god damn it, I need something. You know, I'll go to McDonald's. It's been a while, you know. And I spent like $22, and I'm like, what the fuck? I could have gone to Chili's. You know, I could have had a waitress. It's crazy what they're charging these days. Don't even get me started on inflation. We have no hope. You know, inflation never goes down. It's actually a worse problem. Deflation's a worse problem than inflation. So the goal is to never make it go down. It's just to slow how fast it rises. Hopefully the rise, in a best case scenario, inflation is inevitable. You're just trying to control the speed.
Oh, jeez.
So like,
I didn't really know that, I guess.
Everyone complaining about the prices? They're here to stay, baby. They ain't going anywhere. The hope is that we can just make more money and be more productive. And the only way to do that is with AI. We are doomed. We're doomed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that made me feel a weird kind of way.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm going to stay on this planet a little bit longer. Maybe I'm not going to fuck around with that.
Yeah. Isn't it cool I can make a meme of Nicki Minaj's ass and my face on it going beep, bop, 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 bop. And Flight of the Bumblebees could play behind it. It's cool, dude. We live in the best time.
Yes. What a time to be alive.
Heather, you've allowed me to explore every single area of interest in my brain today.
That's the goal. Yeah.
I think we've covered everything.
Yeah. Well, we can pause there because I'm sure we'll touch base again sometime. I won't wait so long to talk to you.
We'll see. Yeah, I'm a pretty busy guy.
yeah. I know you got a lot going on. But yeah, now you're hooked in. You're hooked into the portal, so maybe pop in sometime whenever.
When do you usually broadcast?
You know,
whenever.
Yeah, whenever. Speaking of unpredictable things, and
I'm gonna set her up for the end of this.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, you look great.
There it is. Thank you.
Yeah, just whenever. But I made one the other day, and my sister just popped in the middle of it. And,
yeah, I heard she's into Antarctica.
According to her voicemail, so yeah, I guess she's saving the world. One
we
zombie virus at a time. You guys talk?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Ham sandwich.
Do you want to sign us off?
Salute.
Parting words?
We live in the greatest time of all times, as there ever have been time. But it's up to you if we make it even greater. Thank you very much.
4044 or 2044.
4044, my God.
4044.
I'm going to be like in a glass. I'm going to be in the jar of pain, liquefied. Just memes falling out of the top. Oh, wow. There's that Nicki Minaj's ass meme. We love that one.
Man, I'm sorry. I really fucked up your sign off there.
I think I fucked it up too.
I don't know. You had a great thing going, and then I'm your VP, and I was like, we'll see you in 4044.
Wait, you're like Mike Huckabee. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
He lost the race because he made a weird sound in the microphone. He went, and everyone's like, that can't be him.
Fuck that guy. No way.
President.
No,
he was like he was polling hard, and they're just like, nope.
Wow,
that's it.
America is savage.
Okay, can I try the sound off one more time?
Yeah, you please do. I won't say anything. You'll be the end.
My name is Matt Hassmuller, and I'm running for president in 2044. I'm running for president because I believe America is the greatest country. It's the greatest country in the world. And I have 20 years to make you figure it out too. And if you can figure it out, then we can start acting like it. And when we all start acting like it, America's at its best. Thank you and good night. God bless America.
Huh?